Hi, in today's lesson, I'm going to show you how to do hard trinomial factoring. First, what is hard trinomial factoring? It's factoring expressions where the leading coefficient is not equal to 1. So examples such as 5x squared plus 16x plus 3. This is an example of a hard trinomial. Why? Because the leading coefficient, so the coefficient in front of the x squared term, is not equal to 1. It's 5. So that's a hard trinomial. Another example, 3x squared plus 5x plus 2. That's another example of hard trinomial. Why? Because the leading coefficient, the coefficient in front of the x squared term is equal to 3, and that's not equal to 1. So these are called hard trinomials. Now I'm going to show you how to factor these expressions. So let's start off with our first example, which is 5x squared plus 16x plus 3. The first step is I'm going to create two brackets, and then I'm going to rewrite 5x as the first term in each of the brackets. And where does that 5x come from? It comes from here. And I need x in each because the x's have to multiply to give you the x squared term. And after that, I'm going to divide this fraction by 5. Okay? The second step is I'm going to find a pair of numbers where they multiply to give you 15. 15 is simply the product of 5 and 3. And that add to give you 16, which is this middle term. So again, I want to find a pair of numbers that multiply to give you 15 and that add to give you 16. What are those numbers? Well, it's 15 and 1, because 15 times 1 is 15. 15 plus 1 is 16. So that's the pair that I'm looking for. And what I'm going to do is just write 15 and 1 like this. Now what I'm going to do is from each of the brackets, I'm going to try to common factor as much as I can. So from the first bracket, I can common factor 5. And this inside the bracket becomes x plus 3. In the second bracket, I can't really common factor anything out. It's already reduced. So I just leave it as is. And what I can do is I can cancel the two 5's out. So I'm left with x plus 3 times 5x plus 1. That's my answer. And you can certainly check this using FOIL. And you will see that this does indeed give you 5x squared plus 16x plus 3. Let's move on to a second example now. Our second example is 9x squared plus 3x minus 2. So again, the first step is to rewrite it with two brackets, and where the first term is 9x in each of the brackets. And I have to remember to divide this by 9. Okay? Now what I want to do is I want to find two numbers that multiply to give you what? 9 times negative 2, which is negative 18, and that add to give you this middle number, which is 3, positive 3. So find two numbers that multiply to give you negative 18 and add to give you 3. How do I do that? Well, you can do it like this. Let's try to find pairs of numbers that multiply to give you 18. You can have 118, you can have 2 9, you can have 3 6, 4 doesn't work, 5 doesn't work, and 6 you're back here. So these are all the factors. And I want to make sure that they multiply to negative 18 and add to positive 3. Oh, 3 and 6. If 6 were negative, then 3 times negative 6 does give you negative 18, and 3 times negative 6 gives you negative 3. Oh, what if I were to switch the sign and say negative 3 and positive 6? Well, negative 3 times positive 6 still gives you negative 18, And negative 3 plus 6 does give you positive 3. So this is the pair that we want. It's negative 3 and positive 6. And what am I going to do? I'm going to plug in negative 3, positive 6. The order doesn't matter here. And the next step is to common factor. So in the first bracket, I can common factor 3. And 9x divided by 3 is 3x, and negative 3 divided by 3 is negative 1. And I'm going to common factor 3 again from the second bracket, and 3x plus 2. Okay? And of course, divide all this by 9. And guess what? I can reduce this. And I can reduce this one more time. And what am I left with? I'm left with 3x minus 1 times 3x plus 2. And that's my answer. Now let's look at our third and final example. 8x squared plus 6x minus 9. Again, first step, I'm going to rewrite this with two brackets. And the first term is going to be 8x and 8x. And I have to make sure to divide this all by 8. Now what do I want? I want to find a pair of numbers, two numbers that multiply to give you what? 8 times negative 9, so negative 72, and that add to give you positive 6, and that's this middle number here. So two numbers that multiply to negative 72 and add to 6. So let's try to find some factors of 72. Well, 1 and 72, you have 2 and 36, you have 3 and 24, you have 4 and 18, you have 5 doesn't go into 72, you have 6 and 12, you have 7, no, it doesn't go in, 8 and 9, and it's just going to repeat the same thing if I go farther, right? And I want to look to see if there are any pairs that when I apply negative sign, I can somehow get the number positive 6. 172, no, they're too far apart. 236, again, too far apart. 3 and 24, too far apart. 4 and 18, if I make negative 18, I get negative 14. If I make negative 4 and positive 18, I get plus 14, still not what I'm looking for. Oh, if I make this negative 6 and positive 12, they're going to multiply to give you negative 72, and they're going to add to give you 6. So that's the pair I'm looking for, negative 6 and positive 12, because they multiply to negative 72, and they add to positive 6. So I'm going to, as I've done, just write it like that. And we're almost there. I want to common factor. So from the first bracket, I can take out 2, 4x minus 3. And from the second bracket, I can take out 2. I can actually take out 4. And this becomes 2x plus 3. Now I have to make sure that I still have that division by 8. And I'm going to reduce. Okay, 2 goes into 8 4 times. Well, 4 and 4, they cancel out. So my final answer is 4x minus 3 times 2x plus 3. And this is how you do our trinomial factoring. Thanks for watching.